PEI's workplace harassment laws have changed several times in the past 5 years. This has made it hard for busy employers to stay up to date. I'm Emily MacDonald with HR Atlantic Law. I've worked as a labor and employment lawyer in Charlottetown for the past 11 years. I'm here to help you get a workplace harassment policy that works for your business or organization. This video will be an overview of what you can expect in a meeting with me or another lawyer about your policy. I will cover what workplace harassment is, who it affects, the benefits of a policy, and your legal obligations as an employer. Let's start by clarifying what workplace harassment is. You can find the full legal definition of harassment in the Workplace Harassment Regulations under the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Workplace harassment can be any behavior that could cause psychological or physical harm to a worker in the workplace or at a work-related event. It can be harassment if the person doing the behavior knew or should reasonably know it would cause harm. Workplace harassment can include inappropriate comments, gestures, bullying, and other harm. The impact of the behavior matters, not the intention behind it. That means that someone may not mean to cause harm, and it can still be considered harassment. Sometimes staff and employers ask what they should reasonably know. That will often depend on the situation. But the workplace harassment regulations are clear about 2 examples that count as workplace harassment. The first is when behaviors target personal characteristics, and the second is inappropriate and unwanted sexual behavior. Personal characteristics include race, ethnicity, disability, sex, gender identity, and other traits. Who does harassment affect? You may not think harassment will happen at your workplace, but unfortunately it's very common. Harassment can happen in any workplace. 47% of women and 31% of men report experiencing harassment or sexual assault at work, according to recent Statistics Canada data. And those numbers are higher for members of the LGBTQ2+ community. 76% of female-identifying LGBTQ2+ employees reported experiencing harassment or sexual assault at work. And the impacts of harassment go beyond the people that are directly involved. Unchecked workplace harassment can hurt morale, productivity, retention, and your reputation. The good news is that being prepared helps. A clear and well-communicated policy can prevent unintended harassment by helping staff learn what behavior is acceptable and what can cause harm. It can deter harassment by setting clear expectations around consequences. It can support your effective response to difficult and stressful situations of harassment. And it can make seeking support more effective, accessible, and safe. A policy can reduce your legal risks and expenses, but not making a policy or not following a policy can increase your legal risk and expenses. If an unsafe or toxic workplace forces an employee to resign, that employee may be able to make a constructive dismissal claim. In these cases, even if the employee resigned, the law can treat it like they were fired because the employer failed to provide a safe workplace. Constructive dismissal claims can be expensive for employers. A worker may seek lost wages and other forms of damages. We've seen these types of cases in Atlantic Canada, and they can be costly both financially and in terms of the employer's reputation. Under workers' compensation, someone may make a claim for time off and for stress related to harassment. If that happens, your premiums may increase. Under the Human Rights Act, discrimination at work, which includes sexual harassment, is not allowed. The Human Rights Act does not specifically say you must have a workplace harassment policy, but other laws do. And if you don't have a policy, your risk of owing damages to an employee who makes a human rights complaint can be higher. In a recent human rights case from Prince Edward Island, a workplace without a harassment policy paid $15,000 in damages to a former employee. This was due to a lack of training and in part due to the lack of policy, which contributed to harassment becoming part of the culture in the workplace. In addition to all the benefits of having a harassment policy, PEI's Occupational Health and Safety Act requires it. And the PEI Employment Standards Act requires a policy that covers sexual harassment at work. It doesn't matter if your staff is 1 or 100. You have the legal responsibility of having a policy that covers harassment and sexual harassment. And your policy needs to meet a number of other legal requirements. For example, you must define harassment consistently with the Occupational Health and Safety Act. You must address how your workplace will prevent harassment, and you must describe how reports and complaints of harassment will be investigated. Occupational health and safety officers may issue orders or fines if your policy does not comply with these legal requirements. Taking the time now to create and implement a solid harassment policy isn't only about meeting legal requirements. It is an investment in the health and success of your organization. I hope this introduction has been helpful. Now that we know the basics, let's get to work and make a policy that works for you and your business or organization.